Coming up on the bench, Syracuse men's basketball this past week has had its highs and lows. In the thick of the conference slate, the Cuse matched up with NC State at home and Boston College on the road. We'll break those down and highlight a special ceremony in the Dome.
Coach Jack's message to the country all season was, hey, we're coming. And the Orange are here. Deasia Fair and company are the 22nd ranked team in the nation. How would SU play with a target on its back against some of the Atlantic Coast's best?
And from the hardwood to the outdoors, the season for Syracuse men's lacrosse is right around the corner. Preseason rankings are out, awards have been given, and our beat reporters will tell you what to expect in 2024. All of that and a whole lot more, it's On the Bench, and it starts right now. Welcome into the CitrusTV studio for On the Bench. That's Joe Puccio. I'm Ben Spector. Thank you so much for joining us. Joe, ready to talk some ball?
Especially lacrosse coming up later in the show. It's still cold outside, but lacrosse season's here.
There's basketball, there's lacrosse balls, there may even be some football. So let's just get to our headlines of the week. The Fran Brown era is in full force. It has been transfers galore for Syracuse football since the hire. Plus, even some highly touted recruits have decided to come to the 315 for this upcoming season. But for Brown and company, it's never too early to think about the future. This past weekend, the Orange got their first verbal commit for the class of 2025. Edge rusher Zach Strange from Pennsylvania posted on X that he is, quote, 50 million% committed. Now, the four-star is the first commit of the Fran Brown cycle for 2025 and chose the Cuse over Penn State, Pittsburgh, Rutgers, and USC. Plus, in a recent interview with Syracuse on SI's Mike McAllister, Strange says he grew up with the new SU defensive coordinator Elijah Robinson. The first get of the Fran Brown era for the class of 2025 is already here, and there could be more to come.
50 million%, that's quite a ringing endorsement. In just one season at Syracuse, Allie Kelly continues to rewrite the record books. After Syracuse hockey's 2-1 win over Robert Morris on Saturday, the Orange netminder broke SU's single-season saves record. Through 27 games, Kelly has stopped 954 shots. And out of those 27 games this season, there's only been 3 contests in which the graduate goalie has amassed less than 20 saves. Just a couple weeks ago, Kelly made 65 saves against St. Lawrence, creating a new Syracuse single-game record. Now take a look here at the all-time list. Kelly surpassed Lucy Shadle, who was the first goalie in Syracuse hockey history back in 2008. You see there, Shadle with 946 saves, and Kelly at the top as the brand new leader. Although the Orange are 6-22, Allie Kelly provides glimpses of hope as the season winds down.
Allie Kelly doing some impressive things on the back end between the pipes for Syracuse women's ice hockey, but this past weekend, shifting gears back to the hardwood, Syracuse's Ring of Honor officially got its 8th member. At halftime of the Syracuse men's basketball game against NC State on Saturday, Bing, who was joined by Jim Boeheim, former teammates and family, saw his name get revealed in the JMA Wireless Dome. Bing scored over 20 points per game from 1962 to 1966 at Syracuse, was the mayor of Detroit, and is in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Nonetheless, Bing was incredibly grateful after the ceremony.
This is something I never expected when I came to Syracuse back in 1962. But I'm so honored for this award because it reflects the icons of athletes in yesteryear for Syracuse University.
Joe, Bing had a storied basketball career, especially on the Hill, and even after he left Syracuse with the Detroit Pistons, but also succeeded off the floor. It was about time for Bing to be inducted into SU's Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you see the accolades on your screen. Dave Bing, one of the best players in Syracuse history. That's what Jim Boeheim says as well. But Dave Bing off the floor, mayor of Detroit, the founder of the Bing Group. He's made millions of dollars after his playing career. And athletic director John Wildak has said that Dave Bing is emblematic of what he wants out of Syracuse student athletes. Athletes that are great on the floor, and then when they leave Syracuse, they are winners in the real world. So that was quite the ceremony for Dave Bing and the Ring of Honor, but there was a basketball game being played that day. SU men's hoops in ACC play this season could rewrite Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When Quadir Copeland's buzzer beater had fans cheering and broadcasters screaming, it seemed like this team was vibing on a whole new level. But Mr. Hyde showed up when SU got punched in the mouth against FSU in its first home loss of the season. The chance for the Orange to get back on track was on Saturday against NC State. The Pack lost 2 straight to UVA and Va-Tech. Robert Louis Stevenson once wrote in his famous novel, "Quiet minds cannot be perplexed or frightened, but go on in fortune or misfortune at their own private pace." Did Jekyll or Hyde show up on Saturday inside the Dome? Let's find out right now and head over to the JMA Wireless Dome for an Atlantic Coast battle between NC State and Syracuse. We start about 3.5 minutes into this first half. Judah Mintz goes to the hoop, kicks out to J.J. Starling, who hits one of his first of 4 threes in a career day for the Baldwinsville native. But right back down the floor, Mohamed Diarra in the corner. He answers right back with a 3 of his own. We've got a tie 8-8 game 4 minutes in. Now, Syracuse in the first half, they won this turnover battle 8-4 to the Wolfpack, and Chris Bell would make them pay for it. My goodness, you might see that play later on in the show. NC State had some trouble. That wasn't a turnover. That's just a missed shot that SU turned into 2 points on the other end of the floor. J.J. Starling's layup helped Syracuse get a 38-22 lead after the first half. But in the second half, NC State started to crawl back. DJ Horn on the left wing. He buries the 3 to get NC State within 20. Now, Syracuse and DJ Burns, the leading scorer for the Wolfpack, tried to make some plays, but SU's defense was there. Judah Mintz out to Malik Brown. To Starling in the corner, he hits the 3. SU a turnover to 3 points. The Orange made 7 of those in this game and shot 39% from downtown. Yeah, they can also do it from inside as well. Benny Williams with the slam with under 10 minutes to go in the game. Judah Mintz, 9 assists in this game against NC State. He's got 25 of those bad boys in his last 3 games, including this one here. Assist down low to Copeland, the one-handed icing on the cake finish. Syracuse wins on Dave Bing Day. Dr. Hyde shows up, or Dr. Jekyll shows up, I should say, 77-65. I'm getting my characters mixed up.
That's okay, Joe, because Syracuse nonetheless pulled out with a victory. So, SU with a big win after a 16-point loss to Florida State. The Orange are truly in the thick of conference play. So, Syracuse goes back on the road, this time to Chestnut Hill. SU entered this matchup with an 11-game win streak in the series, also beat Boston College earlier that season on January 10th. So can the Cuse make it 12 in a row? To Conti Forum we go. Syracuse and Boston College. Quentin Post, you see on your screen there, 0 points in the game on January 10th. How will he help Boston College in this one? Well, Syracuse offensively started off real cold. 4 minutes and 20 seconds, Syracuse was held scoreless. Judah Mintz missed a 3-pointer. That's Syracuse's leading scorer. J.J. Starling, coming off of a 26-point game against NC State, really struggled early in this contest as well. And Jaden Zachary took advantage of his Euro-stepped his way through the lane. BC up 7-2 early. Look at this feed from Quadir Copeland, though, to Malik Brown. Copeland finished with 9 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds. But Mason Madsen had a 3-pointer to kickstart a run for Boston College. BC finished the first half on a 14-0 run. Mason Madsen was getting involved. Devin McLaughlin on this dunk, and BC had a 37-30 lead after 20 minutes. But that run carried into the second half. McLaughlin with this 3 extended it to 49-35 BC, a 21-0 run between both halves. But Syracuse clawed its way back behind that Benny Williams trifecta and this Malik Brown layup. A tic-tac-toe play. Williams to Copeland. Behind the back feed to Malik Brown. Are you kidding me? Syracuse was feeling real good, down by just 2 midway through the second half, but then down the stretch, Claudel Harris put the icing on the cake. Finished this game with 19 points, 5 3-pointers, 2 down the stretch, helped Boston College go on a 17-6 run for the final 5.5 minutes of this game, and Devin McLaughlin just did it all for the Eagles. Puts it home, extends BC's lead, and that was all she wrote. Boston College beats Syracuse 80-75. SU cannot continue to build on that momentum.
You know, Red Autry, he gets his team ready after a loss. He gets them prepared well for the next time out, so we'll see what happens on Saturday against Wake Forest. But after this quick break, we're shifting gears to the women's side. The Orange are hot, and we'll tell you all about it on this next segment of On the Bench.
To my house. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The walls were closing in. Clearly a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It could help you find a little more breathing room.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
We're back for some more On the Bench here inside the CitrusTV studios. Joe Puccio and Ben Spector with you. Ben, I guarantee you, if you were to poll the student body on who the best team on campus is, I would not be shocked if SU women's basketball was the leader in votes.
I'd agree.
The Orange are 16-2 coming into last Thursday's game against Notre Dame, with its only losses coming against ranked Maryland and UNC squads. ACC women's basketball, though, is a gauntlet. Excluding Syracuse, the Atlantic Coast Conference has 5 ranked teams at the top of its standings. One of those is Notre Dame, the 5-time ACC champions and the 15th ranked team in the land. Could SU show its supremacy against one of college basketball's all-time greats? Well, let's go to South Bend, Indiana, the Purcell Pavilion, a staple in women's basketball, the home of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We start halfway through this first quarter. KK Bransford, she's only a 20% three-point shooter, but she buries it on the right wing to give Notre Dame an early 1-point lead. Deasia Fair, she also hit just a couple of threes in this game as well on a great night for the guard, one of her 4 three-pointers today. Maddie Westphal on the other end, she's one of the best players in the nation. She hits from the free throw line, and Deasia Fair said, oh, best player in the nation? Well, that's me. Creates her own space, pulls up for 3, and connects. Boy, she's been doing that all season long. That three-pointer helped Syracuse get a 38-32 lead at the half, even though that three-pointer from the Irish cut it to a 6-point deficit. In the second half, Syracuse kept things rolling. Deasia Fair hits a straightaway 3, SU up by 9. The Irish start to cut back into this lead a little bit. Westphal, her fadeaway jumper cuts the Irish deficit just to 1, and then just 10 seconds later, Hannah Hidalgo, the leading scorer for Notre Dame, her layup on the right side gives Notre Dame a 42-41 lead. But that was just the third quarter, because in the fourth quarter, it was all Cuse. A 23-6 run in the final 8 minutes of the frame. Look, even Georgia Woolley's getting in on the action, hitting the 3 right in front of her team's bench. And Deasia Fair, man, she's so good. She draws defenders to her. It allows Alyssa Latham to sit right open on the block. Her 2 points solidified the win. SU wins in Notre Dame for the first time ever, 79-65.
Joe, Syracuse women's hoops, I'm going to say it, is a wagon. The Orange swept the season series over Notre Dame. And for the first time in program history, you heard Joe say it, won at the Purcell Pavilion. Wow, South Bend, a tough place to play. So, the Orange continued the 3-game stretch of ranked opponents with the second matchup. This time, at home against then number 19 Virginia Tech. We head to the JMA Wireless Dome for this ACC clash. Syracuse, Virginia Tech, the Orange. Just one conference loss this season that came against North Carolina. The Orange toward the top of the ACC, but it was Virginia Tech that made its mark early. Georgia Amor had Virginia Tech's first 11 points in this game, finished the contest with 29. She was making it rain from 3, had 4 trifectas in this matchup, but it was bound for Deasia Fair to get involved. Down by double digits, Syracuse relied on its best scorer. In the first half in this game, as you see Fair turn defense into offense, Fair became the 9th all-time scorer in Division I women's college basketball history. But Virginia Tech just kept its foot on the gas. Kayla King with the straightaway 3. lead with just about 5 minutes left in the first half. But Deaja Fair just doing Deaja Fair things kept Syracuse in it. So Virginia Tech just a 4-point advantage after 20 minutes. But then in the second half, it was about time for Georgia Woolley to get involved. Woolley finished with 16 points in this one, tied for the team lead with Fair. But on the other end, Matilda Eck, this three-pointer, 4 different Virginia Tech players hit three-pointers. Eck was one of them. But look at this tough layup from Woolley with the and one. Virginia Tech kept double-teaming Deaja Fair, and even though she put crazy layups up like this one, she wanted to join the party. It was Woolley that was really getting involved, but it just felt like anytime Syracuse threw a punch, Virginia Tech answered. Kayla King with another three. She continued to pile it on from deep. Kyra Wood had this laugh for Syracuse as they tried to claw back in it, down by 8, but Virginia Tech just kept scoring. Kayla King with her 4th three-pointer from the corner of the afternoon. Virginia Tech takes this one 75-62 in this ranked ACC clash, and Andrew Della Piana was in the Dome to break it down.
The three-point line sits north of 22 feet away from the bucket in college basketball. But this afternoon, it made the biggest difference in number 22 Syracuse's 75-62 loss to number 19 Virginia Tech. The Hokies connected from distance 12 times in today's contest, and the Orange shot just 24% from downtown. All 3 of SU's losses have now come when it shoots under 30% from 3. For head coach Felicia Leggett-Jack, it was just an off day at the office for her squad.
I guess so. 5 for 22 isn't a good stat. So I just thought that we don't need to take as many as we're taking. We can get to the lip and get to the free throw line. You know, we only shot 17 free throws. We should have taken about 30 free throws tonight because they were reaching and grabbing and we were fast. They went to the zone because they're not fast enough to guard us. And so let's prove it by just trying to get to the lip like Elena was trying to do. But we'll continue to learn some lessons. We lost our focus. And that's not going to ever happen on my watch again. Nothing's going to be more important than being prepared for the game that we have next.
Today's loss snapped a 15-game home win streak for the Orange. The last time SU lost in this building was almost a calendar year ago against Louisville. Funny enough, that's SU's next opponent when it travels to the Bluegrass State on Thursday. The number 18 Cardinals have won 7 consecutive games against the Orange. But for now, reporting from the JMA Wireless Dome, Andrew Del Piana, Citrus TV.
Changeover crews happening behind you in the Dome. That must mean lacrosse season is here. When we come back, we're talking to our 3 men's lacrosse beat reporters to break down perhaps one of the best teams on campus. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
It's lax time here on the bench. Joe Puccio, Ben Spector back with you. Ben, the Inside Lacrosse polls just came out. Syracuse men's lacrosse starts off the season as the 9th ranked team in the land to start 2024.
Well, Joe, if you're a Syracuse fan, that has to just make you confident after last season. Syracuse finished last in the ACC, and they're picked in the preseason poll to finish last in the conference, which is kind of ironic because North Carolina on the preseason Inside Lacrosse rankings projected to be 17. Syracuse ranked 8 spots ahead, and they're projected to finish last in the conference. Joe, make it make sense for me.
That's the ACC for you. You know, Syracuse finished last in the conference last season. Now all of a sudden they're number 9 team in the land to start 2024. Things can change just like that. I know that Syracuse is the 9th best team in the country. I'd probably say this is the number 1 best stick in the country. And these are the 3 best reporters in the country. We've got Luke Burgess, Adam Gotkin, and Sam Corcoran, your men's lacrosse beat reporters for the 2024 season. But guys, I don't know what you're doing here. Go outside and start talking some lax, why don't you?
So we had to go big to talk about Syracuse men's lacrosse because that's exactly what the Orange did in the transfer portal this offseason. Starting off right here at faceoff midfielder, Mason Cohn comes up from Tufts after winning D3 faceoff player of the year with a 71.6 win percentage. And hey, if you win faceoffs, you get goal scoring opportunities. You know who can find Twine easily? Christian Moulet, the Lehigh transfer who had 73 points with the Mountain Hawks last season. Right behind him, you'll find two All-Americans from Princeton. Jake Stevens and Sam English lead a loaded midfield and a loaded transfer class that can provide more for this high-octane offense.
Sorry, got a little bit caught up there. Now, with all of these incoming transfers, you might think, hey, this is going to be a new-look Syracuse offense, but look, in reality, the Orange returned 5 of their top 7 scorers, and it all starts with the attack. Joey Spolina, the ACC Freshman of the Year, a generational talent, alongside Owen Hiltz, who had a spectacular 2021, missed all of 2022 due to injury, and then got back to his prior form in 2023. And then you go up to the midfield. You got the sophomores and Luke Roa and Finn Thompson, both primed for breakout years. And you can't forget about Jackson Birtwistle, who had 27 goals last season.
All right, time out. It's not just on the field that things are changing for Syracuse men's lacrosse in 2024. It's also on the sidelines. Longtime defensive coordinator Dave Petramala is out and John O'Derna is in from Manhattan. He turned the Jaspers into a powerhouse in the last 3 seasons with regular season championships in 2023 and 2021 and a tournament championship in 2022. But what helps Gary Gate the most in 2024 is his All-American in net Will Mark. That's all the lacrosse coverage we've got for now, but you can follow us on X at CitrusTV Sports for the best coverage all season long. After the break, we'll send it back to studio with Joe and Ben. They have our top plays and performers of the month.
We're back on the bench. He's Joe Puccio. I'm Ben Spector. They seemed a little cold outside, don't you think?
Yeah, Luke Burgess' nose is a little red there.
Luckily, we're nice and warm in here. I hope they get back to the studio and they find some warmth as well. But now it's time for our performers of the month. January is over. So now let's recap a little bit, and I'll start, Joe. I'll start with number 3. I'll start with somebody on the men's basketball team. That's guard J.J. Starling, the Baldwinsville native. The month of January started off a little bit rough for Starling. Against Duke, just 9 points. Then against BC, just 2. But in each of his last 5 games, he's had at least double-digit points. In 3 of the last 5 games, J.J. Starling has had at least 4 3-pointers. And against Miami, that's the game where he really showed out. 6 3-pointers, 22 points in that one. But you might think 22 points, that could be a season high, right? No, J.J. Starling had 26 against NC State, helped Syracuse win that one. When J.J. Starling is on the floor as a shooter, it adds a whole new dimension to this Syracuse offense, and he really showed that towards the later half of January.
Ben, you know those automated messages that come up on your phone once in a while? Yeah. Well, I actually just got one, and it says that Deaisha Fair is a performer of the month to highlight on the bench. I mean, it seems like every single time we have our performers, Deaisha Fair's name is there. Well, why is it that she is this week? Well, 25 points against Notre Dame, 16 points against Virginia Tech in the last 2 games. And listen, it's ACC time. You need your best players to perform. She's played in 38 of the 40 minutes in the 2 games that we have highlighted here on the air. Top 5 in scoring in the ACC, 21 points a game. She's got the most threes made per game in conference. Hardly anyone can stop Deaisha Fair.
Deaisha Fair is playing incredibly well this season, just putting an exclamation point on her career. So for our performer of the month, number 1, we're going to stay on the hardwood. We're going back to the men's basketball team. It's Judah Mintz. Look, we know Mintz can score with the best of them. He leads Syracuse in scoring with around 19 points per game. He can get to the charity stripe at will. But what Judah Mintz has done best in the month of January is dish out the basketball. You see on your screen 9 assists against NC State. It was the Miami game that really stood out to me, though. 10 points, 13 assists. 8 rebounds. He was on triple-double watch. He just generates points for this Syracuse offense. And before the game, the night before the Miami game, Quavier Copeland said that Judah Mintz was just sitting there saying, I want 10 assists. I want 10 assists in a game. He got it against Miami. He is dishing the rock, especially in the month of January.
You can see that Syracuse's offense is changing a little bit with its point guard starting to dish the ball out more. So those are our performers of the month. How about our top plays of the month? We got 5 of them for you, so let's roll it. Starting with number 5. In men's basketball, Chris Bell makes the list in his game against NC State. Oh, right, no, sorry, I got my numbers mixed up. We're starting in hockey. It's Sarah Thompson. Her shorthanded goal gave Syracuse her 2-1 win over Robert Morris. You know, when you're on the penalty kill, it's tough to put those pucks into the back of the net, but that dirty shorthanded goal gave Syracuse the win. Pivotal moment for the Cuse.
It's okay, Joe. Not all broadcasters can be mathematicians.
That's
Somebody
right.
has to say it. Number 4 play, we're going to the hardwood. Georgia Woolley with this crazy layup, this and one opportunity. Starts on the right wing, moves to her left. Liz Kitley is all over Woolley, but somehow, some way, she just throws it behind her and it banks in. Unbelievable layup from Woolley. Watch it again in slow motion. She is fouled. There's contact there. And in a clutch moment in the second half, Georgia Woolley, when Deasia Fair and the defense is all over her, Woolley just drives in and throws it up and gets it to go.
Man, Georgia Woolley, she is fun to watch. Our number 3 player, we're sticking in basketball on the men's side. Judah Mintz against Florida State. The one-handed finish. Oh my goodness, I think he took 2 steps there. He got the ball at the free throw line from Kyle Cup. Yeah, see, look at there. Right foot, left foot, and he just soars through the air.
1,
Syracuse
2.
loses the game, though, to Florida State 85-69.
An athletic play from Judah Mintz, but we're going back to the rink for this one. Syracuse and Penn State. Darcy Johal, watch this goal again. It was a little quick on your screen. A fake shot, then moves to her right, completely dekes out the goalie. It might look, that's very difficult to do. It was very impressive.
That goalie said was looking towards the right side. Well, I think I might have spoiled all the fun because our number 1 top play is Chris Bell against NC State, but watch this. A windmill dunk, are you kidding me? Thank goodness there was no Wolfpack in sight because there probably would have been an NC State player down on the floor. He gets the steal on the defensive end, and then on the other side just flies right to the hoop. I mean, Chris Bell, his athleticism, and the athleticism of most of these guys on Syracuse men's basketball, it just reminds you, game in and game out, that these guys, they might have it in them.
My favorite part about that Bell play is he just holds the ball with one hand as he knows what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to dunk it like
Well, you also saw, too, when he had the basketball, he looks down at the floor. It's almost like he's thinking to himself, what move am I going to do here? Am I going to tomahawk chop it? Am I going to throw it from behind my shoulder? What's going to happen here? And he decides, I'll just do a simple windmill.
Whatever he was going to do was very impressive. But what's also impressive, I want to keep talking about Deasia Fair because she deserves the praise. Mm-hmm. She is number 9 all-time scorer in Division I women's college basketball history, and she continues to climb the ranks. She could be as high as number 6 by the end of the season, Joe.
Well, when Syracuse beat Pitt just a few weeks ago, she passed Elena Deladon as one of the leading scorers in college basketball. Elena Deladon, and that is a household name in women's basketball. And then you see the Brittany Griners, the Caitlin Clarks of the world that Deasia Fair is currently trailing, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, if you're currently on campus here at Syracuse University, you've got an all-timer currently playing for the Orange. It's going to be really fun to see what she does in her pro career.
And Felicia Leggett-Jack talks about how it's sometimes just fun to watch Deasia Fair as a fan on the sidelines because of what she can do on the offensive end. She continues to just produce points for Syracuse. And she's 5'5", but she's so fast, and she just makes defenders miss.
That's the one thing. All of the names on this list, Deasia Fair is the shortest player on that list. That just shows how crafty she is offensively, how she can create her own space and give Syracuse wins.
And that's the thing. Syracuse 17-3 goes up against Louisville on Thursday. The final ranked matchup of this 3-game stretch that is with ranked opponents. All right, he's Joe Puccio. I'm Ben Spector from On the Bench saying so long. Enjoy this week of Syracuse sports and sit back, relax. We've got our images of the week.
Just when it looked like the arrow was pointed up, Syracuse got slapped with a midweek loss. Can the Orange turn it around? Let's find out. Syracuse squares off with NC State with a chance at a bounce back. Here comes Bell attacking the right hoop. Windmill slam with one hand.
Cork does so to Starling. just barely in time. Syracuse has a 3-on-2. Copeland to Williams for the slam. Bounce pass to Copeland, who rises for a two-handed jam. 77-65, your final at 5-4 after a 12-point win over NC State.